Khawlah bint Al-Azwar was a Muslim warrior in the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Khawlah was born in the 7th century, and her father Al-Azwar was a major chief of the Banu Asad tribe. Khawlah's brother Dirar became a Muslim after the Battle of the Trench. Her family were also one of the early converts to Islam. Dirar was a highly skilled warrior and had taught Khawlah everything she knew about fighting, from learning the spear, sword fighting, and martial arts. Khawlah was well known for her bravery in battles. She fought side by side with her brother Dirar in many battles. Her talent first appeared during the Battle of Sanata al-Uqab, fought during the siege of Damascus, in which her brother Dirar was leading the Muslim forces and was wounded and taken prisoner by the Byzantine army. Khalid ibn Walid took his mobile guard to rescue him. Khawlah accompanied the army and rushed the Byzantine rearguard alone. In her armor and typical loose dress of Arabian warriors, she was not recognized as a woman until she was asked by Khalid about her identity. It was narrated that in a battle, Raf bin Umaira al-Tay, who was one of the warriors, described how a knight scattered the enemy ranks, disappeared in their midst, reappeared after a while with blood dripping from his spear. He would swerve again and repeat the deed fearlessly, several times. All the Muslim army were worried about him and prayed for his safety. Rafe and others thought that he was Khalid, who won great fame for his bravery and genius military planning. But suddenly Khalid appeared with a number of knights. Rafe asked the leader, "Who is that knight? By God, he has no regard for his safety." Khalid answered that he didn't know the man, though he greatly admired his courage. He called on the army to attack as one man, and to make sure that they protect our hero. They were fascinated as they watched the knight appear with a number of Roman knights chasing him. Then he would turn around and kill the nearest before resuming his attack. The Romans eventually lost the battle and fled, leaving many dead and wounded in the battlefield. Khalid looked for the knight till he found him. By then, he was covered in blood. He praised his bravery and asked him to remove his veil, but the knight did not answer and tried to break away. The soldiers wouldn't let him do that, and everyone asked him to reveal his identity. When the knight found that there was no way to avoid that, he replied in a feminine voice, "My prince, I did not answer because I am shy. You are a great leader, and I am only a woman whose heart is burning." "Who are you?" Khalid insisted. "I am Khawlah bint Al-Azwar. I was with the women accompanying the army, and when I learnt that the enemy captured my brother, I did what I did." Khalid ordered his army to chase the fleeing Roman army, with Khawlah leading the attack, looking in all directions for her brother, but in vain. By noontime, the victory was decisive. Most of the Roman soldiers were killed. Knowing that the prisoners had to be somewhere, Khalid sent Khawlah with a number of knights to find them. After a hot chase, they managed to catch up with a Roman detachment that was taking the prisoners to their headquarters. Another fight took place. The Roman guards were all killed and the prisoners saved. In another battle in Ajnadin, Khawlah's spear broke, and her mare was killed, and she found herself a prisoner. But she was astonished to find that the Romans attacked the women camp and captured several of them. Their leader gave the prisoners to his commanders and ordered Khawlah to be moved into his tent. She was furious and decided that to die is more honorable than living in disgrace. She stood among the other women and called them to fight for their freedom and honor or die. The others were enthusiastic to her plan. They took the tents, poles and pegs and attacked the Roman guards, keeping a formation of a tight circle as she had instructed them. Allah led the attack, killed the first guard with her pole, with the other women following her. According to Al-Waqidi, they managed to kill 30 Roman knights, while Khawlah was encouraging them with her verses, which in fact caused the enemy's blood to boil. The Roman leader was infuriated by what happened, and led a detachment of his knights against the women, though he tried first to tempt them with many promises. He told Khawlah that he planned to marry her and make her the first lady of Damascus. But she answered him calmly and with great contempt, "I wouldn't even accept you to be the shepherd of my camels. How do you expect me to degrade myself and live with you? I swear that I'll be the one to cut off your head for your insolence." In the ensuing battle, the ladies proved their mettle, keeping their grounds for some time, encouraging each other and driving off the attackers with their long poles. Suddenly, Khalid and the army reached the battlefield. In the ensuing fight, over 3,000 Romans were killed. The women who took part in the fighting were proud to say that Khawlah killed 5 knights, including the leader that insulted her. In another battle, the Muslims were overwhelmed by a much bigger Roman army. Many soldiers fled away, but not for long. Khawlah and the other women met the fleeing soldiers, questioning their claims of bravery, and forced them to return to the battle. The men were stunned when they saw Khawlah drawing her sword and leading a counterattack. They turned their horses and joined the battle, which was eventually won. One of the knights present that day said, "Our women were much harsher with us than the Romans. We felt that going back to fight and die was much easier than facing the fury of our women later on." When Khawlah is not fighting battles, she's tending to wounded warriors or composing poems. She was also reported to have a good knowledge of the Quran and Hadith and was sometimes consulted on matters of Islamic law. It was reported that Khawlah never married and had no children. Khawlah became a legend during her life and remains a legend till this day. She set an example to men and women alike that one should fight for what he or she believes in and never accept defeat. Khawlah bint Al-Azwar symbolizes resilience, bravery, and the unwavering spirit of those who fight for justice. Today, her legacy inspires countless hearts across the world. May we all draw strength from Khawlah's tale and stand for what we believe in, just as she did. For her story is one that transcends time, testament to courage, honor, and the fight for freedom. Join us for more inspiring stories of history. Don't forget to subscribe, like,